Hey Ukiah Roadrunners, my name is Gabe. I'm Mrs. Q's husband, Gabby and Sia's dad. I am one of 5 operators for the city that work for the City of Ukiah Water Treatment Plant, and I'm just going to show you around real quick on where your drinking water comes from. Alright, our first stop, so you guys can see where the water comes from, is our Ranny collector. So this is a big, basically a well, and it goes in the ground about 40 feet, and it has 3 horizontal legs. It goes down 40 feet, and then it actually bores vertically underneath the river. And if you can see, the river is right here, so that's essentially where we get our water from, underneath the river. Basically the water leaches down in the ground, and then we pull it from there. Okay, we can go inside. It is going to get kind of loud because 2 of the pumps are running at the moment. So right now it looks like we got 2 pumps running. One's pumping 1,670 gallons a minute. The other's running 580, so about 600 gallons a minute. Okay, so the next part of our tour is where those 2,200 gallons a minute get filtered so that then they're safe to drink. Okay, so here we are in our filter room. From the pumps that you saw earlier, the water gets pumped underground, and then it comes up via this big pipe here, and then it gets pushed in through one of our 3 filters, or 2 of our 3 filters at a time. Okay, so these are our filters. We actually disinfect the water with gas chlorine, and I'll show you that later on in the tour. But this is the way we filter out any particles in the water, unsafe stuff. So the water gets pushed through those pipes. It comes underneath here, goes over the weir in the middle there, and then comes farther down here. And then with the weight of water, it goes through 4 layers of different kinds of media, or like sand and gravel. And then after this, then it goes out to the underneath of this, and we'll go over there and show you where it comes out, and then goes off into the rest of the system. All right, so when the water's getting filtered, we're constantly monitoring we call it turbidity. It's basically the cloudiness of the water. We have state standards that we have to adhere to, and so we're constantly monitoring all these levels. And this is what it's coming in at, and then that's what it's going in at, and this is well below the legal limit. So you guys are getting quality water from the City of Ukiah. All right, so here we are on the bottom side of the filter. So if you see, like right now, it says potable water. So in essence, it's already safe to drink from here on out. But if you see, it goes down, and it goes down into underneath the cement. We have it's called the clear well. Basically gives the chlorine time to do its job and disinfect anything that might be left over after the filtration process. All right, so then after the clear well, these are the pumps that actually pump it from here to what we call the finished water reservoir, and you'll see the tank. It's just on the by the entrance to the plant. So this right now is pumping at 2,400 gallons a minute into that big tank. I believe that tank holds 1.5 million gallons of water, of finished water. And then from there, we'll pump it up to above the golf course to 2 bigger tanks, which then hold, I believe, close to 4 or 5 million gallons of water up there. Okay, before we make it to the finished water reservoir, I figured we'd stop and we'd go over our computer system. This is just our SCADA system. It's an alarm system that's set up that anytime something goes wrong, like say overnight when nobody's here, This up here an alarm will sound, and it'll call us out, or it'll call the police department dispatch, and then they will call us from there to say, hey, there's a problem down at the water treatment plant. Whoever is the on-call operator basically has to get out of bed and whatever time it is, have to be there, have to come down and then make sure everything's still good here. So it's kind of an important job, believe it or not. I mean, nobody really thinks about it, but we are here. Okay, so our disinfectant we use is chlorine gas. It is a dangerous chemical, but used correctly, it's actually pretty safe. So that's all right. This stop is our backwash ponds. Basically, when our filters every 2,400 minutes, we have to run a backwash on our filters, and that basically gets everything out. We're allowed to bring 10% of this stuff back and rerun it through the plant again, just so we're not completely just wasting that water, because it is essentially water, and once it's gone, it's gone. So this is just a way to kind of recycle the water per se. All right, so this is the finished water reservoir. Like I said, it holds like 1.5 million gallons of water. This is kind of almost, it's not a reserve, but we keep this one full, especially like with the fire seasons. How it's been, the fire season's been for the last 4 years straight. We make sure that we have water. If the fire department needs water, they have it, at least on our part. You know, we've done our job. We keep all of our tanks full in the height of the fire season for that reason. So if they have to pull water, there's no questions about it. We'll have it for them. All right, so right now we're walking into the high service pump station. From here, it takes the water that's in the big tank, and when we need it up on the hill above the golf course on 2 other holding tanks up there, then the pumps are in here that send it up that way. Go ahead and hit the switch. I didn't realize you turned on. So it's all right, so these are the 3 pumps. We only run one at a time, but it's always nice to have a backup, just so that in case one goes wrong, we'll always have something else to make sure we get that water out. These pumps pump 2,400 gallons a minute up to the tanks at the golf course, and I mean, there's 4 million, like almost 5 million gallons up at the golf course, so there's a lot of water up there too. All right, so like behind me, this is a basically another monitor that we use to monitor the pH, temperature, and the chlorine levels as it goes out, so we know that it is a safe amount of chlorine when it leaves the plant. So from here on out, we'll know that it's safe water for everybody to drink from here on out. Okay, so you guys saw the SCADA system, and then you guys saw the plant running, and it's pumping water into this tank. So like right now, basically we have a little over 17 feet in the tank, and it'll get up to about 19.5 is kind of what we have it set at now. So then once this fills up, then the plant will turn off on its own with the level indicator, tells the plant, say, hey, you know what, we have as much water as we're set to, and then it'll just shut off. And then once we use this water, then again, it'll tell the plant like, oh man, you need to come on because we're getting low on water. All right, guys, well, that kind of concludes our tour of the main plant. And that's kind of where your guys' drinking water comes from in the dead of summer. We have 4 wells that in the wintertime is kind of where we pull our water from when the plant can't run.
Hey guys, it's Mrs. Q here behind the camera. I'm gonna ask Mr. Q some questions about where he went to school and what his dream was as a child for his future career. All right, Mr. Q, what was your dream as a child to be when you grew up? What was your dream career?
Growing up, I was always into cars. So after I graduated high school, I went to a technical college in Wyoming. And there I went for auto body collision repair. While I was going to school, I worked at Walmart, stocking shelves at night. just to make extra money, you know, and to stay busy. From there, I moved back to California afterward when I realized Wyoming wasn't the answer. It's too cold. Got a job here in Ukiah working at a couple body shops, and I did that for 15 years. And then realized that, you know, 15 years was a good run in the body shop industry, but I needed something with more benefits and something that has a little bit room for advancement. And that's how I started. You know, I was told by one of my buddies that said, hey, you know, the water treatment plant's a good job. It's always going to be there no matter what. And I think that's an important thing, that you need to know that whatever you do, you're not going to get laid off in the wintertime, or, you know, oh, sorry, all of a sudden we don't need you anymore. You know, you need to have that security. And, you know, started thinking about it and said, oh, you know, I go, yeah, I mean, think about it. Water and power are two of the things that you absolutely need. You can't live without, you know, and so that's kind of how we got here.
All right, Mr. Q, what advice do you have for the kiddos that are uncertain as to what they want to do when they grow up?
My advice to them is that there is no wrong job. If you have a job, that could just be a stepping stone for the next job. You know, never quit on what you really want to do. It may not be the best job. It may not be the best paying job. You may not work with the best people in the world, but if you grind it out and keep your head to the grindstone, you can find that ultimate job where it's not work when you go to school. You know, everybody says that it's not you don't work. If you enjoy what you do, you won't work a day in your life. And that's true. That's what everybody says. And I'm here to tell you that's the truth. Because I did auto body and I loved every minute. I go, here I do this and I love every minute. So just a positive attitude and a positive mind frame is kind of my take on how to make everything work good.
All right, Mr. Q, do you have any final thoughts to add?
I guess the only final thoughts I have to add are that just be kind, be respectful to everybody in general, you know, your parents, your teachers, your classmates, you know, because that's the root of everything. You guys, if you guys aren't nice then to each other, then what are you going to do? You know, hopefully this remote learning thing will be over soon and you guys will be back to playing at recess, you know, with each other. And I would just say, let's go Roadrunners.